Welcome back to the Future of Real Estate. I'm Brett Ellis of the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. If you haven't joined us before, you're in for a real treat. By the way, we've got a special section on our website just for the show. Simply go to topagent.com and click on the radio show link. But actually, we're changing that because if you go to topagent.com, you're going to see a video and it's a player. I don't know that changes every week, but the show does. You just click on that and the show will start. And there's multi-segments to the show. To our radio show listeners, you're able to see and watch everything that we do here, and we're going to get into some neat graphs here in this segment in particular. The first half of the show, though, that was fascinating, wasn't it?
That was fascinating. Very, very good show. Very informative.
Had the Chinese drywall expert.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the show. We're able to bring you exciting guests who have pertinent, timely information, and we're able to make this show come alive. When we first started doing this radio show back in 2000, that was like 9 years ago, we couldn't do any of this. But boys, things have sure changed. America's gone into much more debt, and we can bring you a lot more video. So I think we've gone into a little more debt, too.
Oh, I think so, yeah. So. One of the things, Brett, that I did, or actually when I met that gentleman that did the Chinese drywall for us today, the expert, I actually thought that there was a house that we had listed for sale that did not have Chinese drywall. And someone walked in, thought they maybe smelled it, and it was actually a buyer, and so they were going to back out. And so I went out, checked the few of the switch boxes and so forth, and did not note any of the things that are indicative of Chinese drywall. So I was pretty sure it wasn't there. So then we had Mr. Frost Company come, Science Drywall, and do the testing, and it did have Chinese drywall.
Right.
So it's,
exactly.
Yeah, it's important.
And going back to the technology and whatnot, one of the reasons we're bringing you this on video, we are going to be discontinuing the radio, and we're moving this whole show to video. We've been testing this for a month or two, and it's worked out very well. We've gotten rave reviews, and a lot of people are saying we really like, and in fact, they requested us to put these things on video. So all you have to do, one website, just go to topagent.com, and we're also working with the news press. I think the news press may also put this content on their website as well. They won't be there today, so just remember topagent.com, and you'll be able to see the entire show or skip to whichever segments interest you most. Now, speaking of the news press, in today's show, we have an article about November sales setting a record. Now, if you remember last week's article, we talked about, we study the market pretty closely. We study the numbers, and we predicted sales were going to be up year over year, probably around 125%. Now, the official numbers, it's hard to tell exactly how they compile those. So I saw in Florida Weekly last week, they were showing median price at about $89,000. They got those stats from the Greater Fort Myers Association of Realtors, but some of those numbers are just flat out wrong. I don't know where they come up with those numbers, but they are not the numbers we track. And I knew when the official numbers came out, I wanted to watch. We were showing they were going to be up about 125%. The official numbers came out; they're actually up 133%. So we were pretty close. But the median sales, if you go by just one board, at $89,000, the official numbers came in at about $95,100. That was a 3.82% increase over the previous month. It's down a little bit from last year, but you're going to start to see, and we can share with you some graphs, you're going to start to see in the next couple months that yield curve flatten out, and we won't be down anymore. But maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's take you to the heart of the article that's in today's news press. If you want to pick up a copy, you can always go to news-press.com or go pick up your copy in one of the local things where you pick up the newspaper. But here is today's numbers. And look at, now, we've been telling you, we've been setting sales records for all of 2009. Even at the height of the market, if you look at 2005 in the red, these were our biggest numbers up until when? Up until about... Let's see here. Up until about October, when after Hurricane Wilma, everyone thought the hurricane did it. Well, actually, the market was already starting to fall prior to the hurricane. People just didn't realize it because they had a lot of contracts in the books. So basically, if we go and look at this, 2009 has surpassed all of 2005 totals by a wide margin.
You're talking about numbers of sales, though.
Numbers of sales.
You're not talking about volume of sales, or
I am talking about.
You're talking about
transaction
number, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
We're not talking dollar volume.
Dollar volume, yeah.
Because
Big
our
difference.
prices
have plummeted.
At the height of the market in December of 2005, it was about $322,600, $322,300. Now we're talking about $95,100. a few months ago we said we're at 28% of where we were at the height.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're probably at 29%, 30% of where we're at the height, roughly a quarter to a third. That's why our commissions are probably a quarter to a third of what they are.
I hadn't noticed that.
Adrian, how about you? You're in the mortgage business. What's it like lending? Is your revenues probably down simply because your loan values are way down?
Ours are way down. However, the transactions or the units closed is way up right now.
So you're doing a lot of loans, but they're a lot lower.
A lot of loans. The values have come down dramatically. Now, you go back to early through the summer of 2009, our prices or our average price loan amount was probably right around $90,000. And in the last 2-3 months, that's probably more than doubled for me. I think we're close to 175, 180 as the average loan amount right now.
Hey, if somebody wanted a loan, let's give out your phone number. It's 239?
239-677-7250.
We'll try to get that up on screen as well. But for a radio show listener, 677-7250. You do a great job with loans. We rely on you heavily. As a matter of fact, we get a lot of our loans pre-approved through you because it's just like a cash offer when you do them. We know they're going to close. Now, trying to think where I wanted to go with this. Basically, in the news press article, we talked about advice we would give to buyers and sellers. Most agents don't need this advice. There are a few maybe new agents that do. Most agents don't, though. We get a lot of buyers who come down from the north and they want to offer maybe 10 or 20% less on a property because that's what you do where they come from. But that's not really what works down here. We tell people, but you probably see it on the lending side as well. Most of our properties get multiple offers and go in a few short days. And it's kind of ironic because we'll have maybe a property that's been on the market 3 days and it might have 6 offers on it. 5 are at, very near at, or over asking price. And we'll have one that's like 20% under. And you just wonder what they're smoking by offering 20% less. So I always ask the other agent. And the other agent says, well, that's the way they do things up north. Well, I think it's incumbent on agents, to counsel their people. This is the market we're in here. All real estate is local.
Well, you know what, though? Agents have always asked a buyer, what does the ideal home for you look like? Is it 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms? Does it have a garage? All that kind of thing. But what they need to find out is, what does the marketplace look like in the area that you're coming from? Because their expectations are based on that. And so, too, Brett, how much less they're going to offer for the property. Because they think that if that's what you do in Duluth, that's what you do here also. And not necessarily true.
Or it could also be maybe they don't know about the real estate market up north, but they read something about our market here. Or they read a guru that said, hey, nationwide just always offer 10 or 20% less. And the gurus aren't always right.
But, real estate is the news all across the country right now. So my guess is they do have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for there.
But Sandy, we started falling 4 years ago.
Right.
The rest of the country just started falling in the last year. We've already gone through, and so they may have been reading headlines about what's going on now at the rest of the market, but they're failing to understand what's going on in this market. That's why I say all real estate is local. If I go to Duluth, Georgia, or Duluth, Minnesota, I'm going to seek a competent realtor there who knows that market because I certainly don't know that market.
Well, definitely. But your expectations are still built upon the place what you came from. For example, if you're an investor, you're looking for the same kind of cap rate here that you might have found there, and generally they are about the same.
True, but that's commercial's a little bit different than the residential and how things work.
It is, but what I'm saying is their expectations are not, and they're still based upon what they learned in their marketplace there. Our goal is to teach them
Let's
ours.
pick up on that, and I want to ask Adrian as well what you're seeing in terms of offers, because you have a different perspective than real estate agents. You're listening and watching The Future of Real Estate presented by the Ellis team at RE/MAX. Watch a show at topagent.com, and we'll be right back.